everybody. I'm getting ready to paint one of the do-it-yourself kits in the Winter Wonderland series. So this month you get to pick between the Winter Wonderland series and the Valentine series. So I'll post those videos later. The reason I'm doing it on YouTube is because I am recording this in December still. I didn't want to post it on the website yet, so you'll have to go on there. But first thing we're going to do is paint this with our blue. And this is kind of a blue that I made up of several different color blues. It has a gray in it, it has a sea blue, and it has a dark blue. So first thing I'm going to do is around here, this gets painted blue, and I just put way too much paint on my plate. So remember, you don't ever have to have that much paint. So you don't need to paint this part because this is white, and this part is the house, so you don't need to paint that. So but you want to make sure you go into those so you don't have any spaces that are going to be, wood color. Then you want to always kind of watch out when you go around the holes, because you don't want a ton of paint going into your holes. Okay, so there's first coat. So I'm going to set that there, and there's my paint. And I usually take these sponges, and they're about like that big, and I always cut them in half. But I always put the sponge back in the wet paint. If you just have a little bit of wet, scoop it up so it's in like one spot. And I put way over the amount of paint that I needed. So we're going to set that off to the side. And these are my paint boards that I use. They're just an old piece of cardboard. This came off of some paint boxes that we had at the lumberyard. And these is going to be white. And what I always do is I always kind of write, I got to find my camera. I always write what color I'm going to be doing on that one. Like this is light green, this is black, and this is dark blue. Because sometimes, my brain is just gone. It gets busy thinking of things. So now before I ever paint anything white, I always do a sanding on it. And you just want to sand it. I sanded this last night, but you just want to go over and sand it a little bit. Now, if it's words, you will want to definitely hold down on the word and then sand it, because otherwise you might break an L off or an E off. So yeah, always make sure that you hold down on the small little things, okay? So now we're gonna get our white going here. And we don't need much. I mean, that's like way over the amount that I need. Okay, now, since these are small pieces, I'm not going to use the big piece that I cut off. I'm going to use this side. Because, really and I will cut this one up several times. But you want to dab it, and remember, like I always say, if you have a glossiness to your sponge, you got way too much paint on there. Get that paint off. Because otherwise, if I started dabbing on here, it would go all in these little holes. So just kind of dab around. Dab around. Get some more on there, dab. And if you think you have too much, kind of just take it off to the side and pounce it on your paper, okay? The paint goes a long way, and it dries pretty fast too, especially on MDF. Now these, when they're straight lines instead of the ones with the holes, you can go down and, now I gotta have more paint, but I'm not gonna add more paint now because this is first coat. White always takes 2 coats. And to be honest, if I have a big surface that I'm painting, let's see, let me get this one. I'm working on this project for you guys too. This is spray painted because I don't want to sit here and pounce it. And to be honest, spray painting your items will cover any of that charring that's on the side. And if you, I have to go back through here, but if you, get some where you don't want some, just, lightly sand it and it'll come off. Spray paint always takes 2 coats too, but you will never get your char that will come through. If I left this just like this and put 1 coat on it, but say I left the little charring on the backside and I didn't sand that off, you can bet your bottom dollar that is going to come through and it's going to bleed through that white paint. So that's why I love to spray paint larger items. These are smaller items. I could spray paint them, but I just wanted to show you guys. So, okay, so now this white is so hard. And I love my little bee bottles, my honey bottles. So, okay, so now I am going to throw another coat on these because like the first coat always dries super fast. So just want to make sure. And you know what else I wanted to tell you? If you're using cardboard, now see there's like a line in here. I don't know if you can see this line, but don't ever try to put these on lines. I did, but don't ever try to put those on lines because you'll get like an indent and then maybe not get a ton of paint on this side of your project. So the best boards are those foam boards, and I get them at dollar store and then I just cut them up. It's like, you can, oh gosh, I don't know. I even have some long ones. I think is this a long one? Yeah, this is one. This is like a foam board that I get from dollar store. But yeah, you just cut them and, this is, I get 1, 2, I think I get 6. 6 out of the package for $1.25. So, okay, so now we're going to go on to, I kind of prepped all of my boards last night. So now I'm going to do a black. Now, this is the only thing that I have on this sign that is black, okay? So instead of getting the paint out and ruining another sponge, I am going to use my markers that I get from Walmart. You can get Pasha pins, just any kind of pins. But these are the paint pens that I get from Walmart, and I absolutely love them. This is, I think, the Chisholm, I think it's called. But I'll always put it on the thing. Don't sit there and pound it. But this will cover it like no time at all. And it's a good quantity, and I only have one thing that's red. And if you want a true red, besides the Tuscany red and the American Deco, then what is that brand called? This is my favorite brand. Deco Art, the Americana. If you want, the Tuscany is a good red in that. So, see how fast I am? And I didn't ruin a sponge. And I didn't have to get my black paint out. But I get these, whoops, I think I got to go this way. Where's my camera? I get these from Walmart, and they come in the Chisholm one. I think that's called a Chisholm, something like that. Anyway, they come in this size, the medium, a fine, and an ultra fine. And they're awesome paint pens. Okay, so same thing with the red. This is the truest red that you can get. So you got to give it a little bit shaken up. And when you first get them, your tip is going to be clear. But I've used this before, but always make sure you go on here, because sometimes in the tip here, all depends on how you store them. I always store them like this because I don't want any to come out. And I don't want my tip to get like super dried out. But when you first go like this, sometimes you'll have like a little watery substance, but never go on your project. Like if I went on this piece, never go on that piece to push down on it. Always do it like over to the side, because see, this is like a big old glob there of paint. So, but now, and don't worry about the score lines, because this has like little score lines in it, see? So we're just gonna cover that up. And usually this is a one-time cover up too. Boom, done. And see, I didn't even have to get my red paint out for that teeny tiny bit. I just used my paint pen. So On to the next project. Now then, I always take like a thing and Kleenex or a wipey or something and do it. So now this part right here is going to get covered up with these little baby trees that go on here, okay? So those are a dark green. This here is a blue. And I could have got one of my pins, you know, but I absolutely love this blue. So, and I just need just a baby dot. I don't even need that much blue. I mean, that's like an overkill right there. And I wish I had my other little thing. Hang on just 1 minute. Let me see if I can put. Okay, back now. What was I saying? Oh, usually I keep like a little container like this. And this is like where I put all my like little scraps of, I put many other things in there too. But here's like all my little scraps. And I can use this little scrap. I'm going to use that baby scrap because when I'm done with these, then I will cut the tips off. See, that's why they have, like some others have paint on them and stuff that I've used from before. So, okay, so this is the dark blue. So I'm just going to take that in there, dab the paint off a little bit, and then just the bottom of the, oh gosh, flower part gets this. Sometimes your words just aren't there, you know? You sit there and you look at an item and it's like, what is that called? So these are going to be the light green. And this is the light green. I've had this green forever. Ever. And, oops, I just need about that much. Don't need very much. And I'm going to get my wipies out. I use all kind of wipies. I don't know where these came from. Maybe Sam's Club. But you always get two. I don't know why. But these are not the best kind of wipies to get because they do leave lint on them. And sometimes if you have your lint roller, you can use your lint roller and get those off. So now it doesn't matter if you get the trunk because I am going to take a little bit of brown and put on the trunk anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, and really this tree you don't need to do because this tree is I do believe this tree. Yeah, that tree. And this tree is a this is a darker tree. Yeah, darker tree color. So, whoopsie, now I got paint all in there. But you want to make sure you go over it a little bit because you don't want to accidentally, you know, leave a little bit blank and then you put the other tree on top of it and it's like, oh man, I got to go back and do that. So, okay, so make sure you get all of that. So, this board is done. So, we're going to set that on top of that. Now we're going to come over here. I'm going to get a new palette and here this is. This is brown and this is brown and I am going to use, I have no idea what color this is because I know I'm bad because it's semi mixed up when we owned the lumberyard and it's now see how that was kind of flopping up and down? I think I got it on the board. Sometimes I'll put my fingernail over it and then that just kind of secures it, you know, to the tape. Because like this part is not on tape. So I'll just put my finger on top of it just to kind of like secure it. So what kind of weather are you guys having? We're having like a freezing rain today. So I wish everybody was home and safe. But I know people have to go outside and work, and I'm not liking that, and people are traveling. So, okay, so there's our brown. Okay, brown done. Now, these are going to be the darker green. And on this one, I am using the Hauser Dark Green. This is a beautiful color, and I hope these two greens look good together. But see how dark it is? It is a pretty green. And this one I'm going to use my bigger part of the sponge, just because I want to get more service done. Okay, so this, I'm looking at my picture here. This is the dark green. This is the light green. I always have to look. But really, it doesn't matter if you just kind of like, you know, because one tree goes on top of this other one. And I don't know, I'll have to look. Hopefully I didn't mess up and do these wrong. I was kind of tired last night when I put these on boards. But I'm going to do the whole thing just in case. And if I have to go over the light green, that's fine. I'm going to put a little bit more on my palette here. I wonder where they got that name, palette. It's always kind of fascinated me. It's like, what does that really mean? So, okay. This is blue. And that's going to be an ombre with white. It's going to be blue and then ombre with white on it. So, got all that. And this is definitely going to need 2 coats. Definitely. Okay. Ooh, that is a pretty color. So, got all that and the wreath. So, this, we're going to, I gotta pause you for a minute. Okay, now I'm bringing back the other blue that we painted the background here on. And now for the winter. And what we're gonna do for the winter is, I'm going to put a little tiny bit, I'll put it over here so you guys can maybe see better. Let's see, can you see right here? No. Okay, I'll do it up here. Remove these. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of water. Just a little tiny bit. There. That's all I got of water. Okay, so this I'm going to paint blue first. I'm going to get most of that excess out because I don't want it creeping all over. So this I'm going to paint the blue, okay? Now I'm gonna dry that really fast. This thing dries. Whoopsie, forgot a little part right there. There. Okay, let's get that dry a little tiny bit on the top. The bottom I'm not so worried about, but it's such a little piece that it's going to spread out everywhere. So, okay. Now, I'm going to take my white, and this is my white, and then I'm going to put it like at the top, okay? Then I'm going to take a baby one, and where's a baby one? Okay, like a baby one here, and I'm going to dab it in my water, okay? Just dab it in my water a little bit. Okay, you don't want a ton on there, and then I'm just going to like bring it down into, I don't know if you can see that. Bring it down into the blue. It's wet, but it's not wet. Make sure you practice on something, okay? Sometimes you can use your finger too. That works too. So, and then go back up here to the top where the white is. Oops, I don't want to use that. I want to get that back in there. Go back into where the white is and make sure your top is staying white. You don't want to take any of that off of there, okay? And then just kind of do swipes. I don't want it down that low. Sometimes you can work with this quite a bit. And then we'll go down here, kind of bring this. Am I still in the screen? Yeah. Just kind of bring this so it all mingles together. Okay? And there you have like a little ombre. But I am going to put a little bit more at the top because I want it to have like the Snow Peak white on there. Okay? So, see as that I got my white out? So that's what that kind of looks like, okay? See as that I got my white out, since I said this might take like 2 or 3 times, I'm going to put you on pause and I'm going to put another coat on here. Okay, I'm back. Now I forgot that I had to do this white because this is the bottom of This is the bottom of the snow, and this says, "Welcome Winter." So, the house is a very, very light gray. In fact, I had to mix some this morning. I took a dark gray and just mixed it with, it was like a couple drops of, where's my, couple drops of dark gray into the, now I'm moving this over this because I don't want to get any of that on there. So, and this I'll just kind of pounce around. I should have probably, if you want to know the truth, I probably should have sanded this too on the edges. But this, if it didn't have a house piece, because this piece goes right there on that. So if I didn't have a house piece, then I would have definitely, you know, on the edges, I would have definitely sanded them. So you don't need to do really in the door frame because you have your window and you have your doors there that are done on a different color. Those are white and black. And the door frame is brown. And then that's our little tree right there. And you really don't need to do this because we're going to color that in as a brown. And actually, I'm going to use a paint pen on that, and I'll put you on pause. But now, on the wreath part, make sure you, even if you didn't get the outside, just go ahead and do the whole thing, because there's a hole in the wreath, and it goes like right there like that. So you see the hole. So you want to just go ahead and do the whole thing. Okay, this is definitely going to need 2 coats. Sometimes if it's a bigger piece and you can get by with doing the swipe method instead of the pounce method, do the swipe, because it seems like it puts more paint on it than, you know, see what I mean? Seems like it puts more paint on it. Hey, and if you get where the tree is, that's fine too, no problem. So we're going to go all the way up here. And there. So don't need to do the chimney because the chimney is going to be a brownish color. So everything, that's another project. Everything I do believe is painted now. So I'm going to put you on pause. I don't need to paint this. This is done. And I'm going to put a quick coat of brown and a dark green and a light green on there. This is done, and this is done. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I wanted to get back on and show you, I'm not really crazy about this green right here. I love the dark green. I did another coat on that, and I absolutely love the dark green. But I think I'm going to take this green that I used on here, and I'm going to add a smidgen of the darker green to it, because I just want it to be I don't have a stick out here with me. I just want it to be just a little bit off. Oh, and look at that. Yeah, that's going to be, like, see that green there and that green there? It's just a little bit darker. So we're going to recolor these guys. Hey, we might even get a little bit of ombre in there, which would look totally awesome. Okay. And I did put these on the board when I had you guys on pause. I put it on the board because it's like, gosh darn, I don't know if that's supposed to be the darker one or not. So, oh, I do like that better. Yeah, I do like that much better. So this one goes there. See, that's a lighter, it's a speck darker, and I absolutely love it. So I didn't really, that just wasn't good for me. So, okay, the only thing I have to do is another coat of this gray. The white is good because I did do 2 coats of that. I'm going to do another coat of gray. Then I'm going to put you guys on hot pause. I'm going to dry everything super good because when I get my paint pens out, I want everything to be super dry, because if you have ever had that happen, and I have had that happen, if you get and your fingers get super dirty too. If you have had the tips of your paint pens get paint on them, not a good thing. Just throw it in the garbage. I know you can buy different ones, but I don't honestly think you can buy ones for these. Maybe you can, because I know there's one paint pen that I have that it's got like a real funky edge on it, but these, it's pretty the same. So yeah, and these don't like to come off very good. So, but okay, let's tuck that puppy back in there. I'm gonna put a little bit more paint on it, just because I was messing with it. Okay, I'm gonna put you on hold. I'm gonna dry everything super good. I'm gonna get my paint pens out because I forgot to bring them out of the craft room, and I will be back.